This BLIPVERT explains the use of the spreadsheet I have developed for creative project management. I have used it on every Angelspit release, and I found it to be a really handy tool. You might want to watch this BLIPVERT a few times, as there's a lot of information in here. Before I start, I want to thank the awesome guys who helped me produce this. Aaron Bilbrey, Joseph Arpad, Stephen Burnett, Aaron, that dude. You guys are gods. The average Angelspit song takes 4 months to write, contains 14 drafts, 8 lyrical drafts, 30 gigs of audio file, 3 versions of demo vocals, 4 demo guitars, 12 final guitar tracks, a zillion sample files, about 15 floppy disks for the samplers, 3 zip drives for the samplers, 4 versions of final vocals spread amongst 2 vocalists, so that's 8, and a partridge in a pear tree. All of this needs to be organized into 4 minutes of soul-destroying rock. So how do I do it? I use a spreadsheet.
Thank you, Cataclysmic Design!
Just like any other project, writing a song is a series of steps. The method that I have developed is very mathematical, but it helps me keep track of all of the tracks and the chaos that goes on behind the scenes. This spreadsheet helps me keep track of the project and also makes a calculation for its completion. In a nutshell, this is how it works. Grab a bunch of tracks you are working on. Enter their names and tempos into the fields. Now go through each song. How advanced is the composition, arrangement, lyrics, and recording? Put a percentage complete in the appropriate field. Once you are done, the spreadsheet will calculate the total percent that the song is completed. Now move down the list to the next song, and so forth. Once you have entered all the information into all the fields, you'll be able to see where your album is at. Now let's look at the spreadsheet in depth.
Thank you, Stephanie Davidson!
Let's look at the spreadsheet. Column A. This is the number. I don't know why it's here. Maybe it's left over from the golden age of where a CD's track number actually mattered. Regardless, I like to number my tracks, as the name of the track changes often during the writing process. Column B. This is the name of the track. This is usually the working title. Working titles are always random, and as previously mentioned, are subject to change several million times. This is the tempo. Since I write albums more than I write songs, I've found that it helps to see all the tempos of all the songs at a glance. I also try and spread the tempos as much as I can, as instinctively I'll write everything between 140 BPM and 165 BPM. This way I can keep an eye on the variety of the tempos on the album. Side note, try and write a variety of tempos. This will challenge you to write a variety of feels and grooves. Variety is a good thing.
Thank you, the Obscura Tempest!
This is the percentage of the song that is actually completed. We will go into more details about this shortly, but for now, let's just say this field takes an average of all the percentages you're about to enter. These 3 fields are for notes. Notes on sound design, notes on recording the drums, guitars, whatever. It is important to keep these updated, as they will help you figure out exactly where the tracks and the album are at. Side note, each artist has to discipline themselves on the balance between raw and perfect. If you don't spend enough time on something, it can sound like a raw and edgy demo. If you spend too much time on a track, it can sound overproduced. Perfect is a difficult thing to achieve because the more you look for it, the harder it is to find. Plus, it can kind of get boring. Always remember, a song is never completed, it's abandoned. And you will need to decide when it's time to abandon a track and call it finished. The numbers you enter into these fields will help you achieve that, so you need to be honest.
Thank you, Technotron!
Composition. This is the actual composition of the track. Here we focus on the music for the riffs, the melodies, the chords for the verse, chorus, breaks, the middle eights, the bridges, and all the parts that go into making your song. Think of this as the bare bones simplified track. As if it was going to be played on an acoustic guitar, 100% means that it could be played as a simple MIDI file with all the elements of the songs completed and being represented. I realize that not all music fits into this simplified representation, but you still need to break most songs down into verse, chorus, middle eight, bridge, then riffs, bass lines, melodies, chords. You get the picture. Arrangement. I refer to the order of verse, chorus, bridge, middle eight, and all that sort of thing. The arrangement. This is a very important thing to keep in mind. It is not about composition. Rather, it's about structure and order. If you start with a chorus, rather than opening with the verse, you will radically change the character of the song. This column, lyrics. How complete are your lyrics? Put the percentage here. If you're like me, this number will grow slowly. I will go through many drafts before I get it right.
Thank you, Julian Henderson, God of Rock!
Demo vocals. How advanced are the demo vocals? Place the number here. Once the lyrics have come together, you can start putting down the demo vocals. It is important to record demo vocals. This number sometimes decreases, because if the song isn't working, the demo vocals are going to let me know. Remember, the composition, arrangement, and lyrics are the slowest moving component. Once these are taking major shape, the rest of the song quickly falls into place. Guitars recorded. This usually happens in one day, so I'll mark the column 100% after the recording session. Don't rush this. Mic up your guitars correctly and make sure you record them right. Never send a synth head to do a guitarist's job, as the art of getting a good guitar sound and recording it correctly are as in-depth as the art of making a killer synth bass line. Guitars edited. This takes a little longer, as the guitar's arrangement usually grows with the song's development. For me, the number here usually hits around 100% at the end of the process.
Thank you! MayMay Macabre! CASANOVA CUPCAKE!
The next column, lead vocals recorded. Lead vocals can only be recorded once the demo and the lyrics have hit 100%. You shouldn't do something final unless you have completed all the previous steps. I usually mark this 75% after I do a vocal session, because often I have to do pickups. Lead vocals edited. This number usually comes together quickly, as a good vocal take is a good vocal take, and vocals are the core of the track. Backing vocals recorded. This number starts coming together early, as I often start recording bit crushes, harmonies, vocoders, and all that craziness quite early in the track. Backing vocals edited. This number usually takes a while, as it's the smaller vocals that need to be shifted and moved and tweaked around the major vocals. Synths recorded. This number is for recording the synths as opposed to writing the synth parts. That number happens in the composition column. Since I use an analog modular synth, this is a very slow process. And awesome fun. I love modular synths because you are forced to dedicate the sound to tape or hard drive recording. You cannot recall it at another time and tweak it. It's got to be done there and then. You need to make decisions. Making music is about making decisions and making those decisions work.
Thank you, Moir! International Man of Rock!
Brutalized. Personally, I think a song needs to be beaten up a little. Keep track of the beatings in this column. I often ask myself, how would Kurt Cobain, Henry Rollins, Rage Against the Machine, and Soundgarden add chaos to this track to make it explode? Dynamics. This is one of the last fields to be filled. Once everything is recorded, edited, and placed in the track, I set loose with the scalpel and hack the track down so it can breathe. Stops, fills, loud bits, quiet bits, and build-ups. These are what brings a song to life. It's a very important step. Mix down, one of the last steps. When this number is being filled in, the song's basically in the can. Mix it on decent speakers, not headphones. Then cross-reference on PC speakers, headphones, car speakers, whatever you can find. Mastering, the last step. Once this hits 100%, the song's done. Get this done by a professional. If your song is worth something, make sure you invest in the most important part of the sound. Get it mastered by a pro.
Thank you to the grim life of hack and slash!
I spoke to my friend Randall Norton. Randall's from North Carolina, USA, and has a metal cyber band called Spark Chamber. He's working on a new track. It's only in the beginning stages. Randall slightly altered the spreadsheet to suit his project. He added bass guitar, electronics, and sampling, and removed a few headings that were not relevant to him. Randall!
Yes.
What's the name of the track?
The track doesn't even have a title. So far, I'm going with just the date, 7/1/2012.
Alright, what's the tempo of it?
At 140.
What percentage of it is composed?
50-ish.
How about the arrangement as far as like verse, chorus, and all that stuff?
All the pieces are there. I haven't hacked them up and figured out what's what yet. We'll give it maybe 20-ish.
Lyrics, what percentage? Where are you at?
I have pre-chorus, chorus lyrics that I'm not even sure are final. So I'm going to say maybe 10.
Guitars, have you recorded the guitars on this one yet?
Verses, chorus, pre-chorus thing, they're all completely done. I'll call it about 80.
How about the guitars edited? Where are they at as far as being edited?
Editing, I still got a lot of cleaning up to do. I'll say around 50-ish.
On this track, Randall has decided not to include real bass guitar, so that's a 0. And it has not been edited, so that's a 0. Sampling, demo vox, final vox, and everything else from there on hasn't had any work done on it, so that's also 0. The grand total thus far is 17.33%. I call Randall back a few days later. Randall, welcome back!
What's up?
How was church last night?
Church was awesome.
So where's the composition? Where's it at?
Diced everything up. I've got everything pretty much put together. Bridge is written now. I'm going to give it 80%.
All right, awesome. How about the arrangement?
Just about done. 75. 85.
All right, this is like pick a box.
He also did a bunch of work on the lyrics, which are now at 90%. The guitars are recorded and rocking at 100%. Those guitars are almost completely edited. They hit 80%.
So the bass guitar.
Yeah, I decided to throw some actual real recorded live bass in there.
All right, cool. So where's that at now?
Which may be 20%. Editing is almost not done at all. 0% edited.
How about the sampling?
Yeah, for the sampling, went down to the Home Depot, got this big aluminum outdoor trash can, beat the pure hell out of it. So I got some awesome noise. 50%.
He's also thrown in a demo vocal that hit 50%. All the fields from this point on are at 0, giving a grand total of 41%. From here on, the song takes shape quickly, as composition, arrangement, and lyrics are mostly in the bag.
Thank you! Emily Decapitatrix!
My friend Nicholas Doyle is from Canada and has a band called APRIORISM. Last week I quizzed him about the track he's working on. At that stage, the total was 5.83. Nick has a church session on Tuesday, so I called him on Wednesday to ask him how it went.
G'day, Nick.
Hi, Zoog.
How was church last night?
It was pretty intense.
Fucking awesome. What'd you get done? Tell me, where's your composition at?
Composition's at 50% right now.
My man. How about arrangement?
40.
Good dude. Lyrics?
Didn't get very far, 10%.
All right. Electronics?
25.
Rockin'.
Fun.
Sampling?
Still nothing.
Demo vocals?
No, lyrics were too far down. Couldn't start recording vocals.
All right, cool. So what's the new total?
The new total is 10.4.
Rock and roll.
Once again, the 3 core elements are composition, arrangement, and lyrics. Once these are completed, the song comes together quickly. It is important to remember, composition and lyrics usually fall out of the sky when you least expect it, so always carry something to record your ideas. I talk more about this in the Inspiration Blipvert. Also, I highly advise against sitting in front of your computer and waiting for inspiration. It rarely happens. Use the spreadsheet to decide which track you want to work on for your next church session. And remember, update the spreadsheet at the end of each church session.
Thank you, Cameo, aka Keo!
If you know a little about programming a spreadsheet, you can add extra columns to your sheet. However, I advise not to get too carried away. Don't focus on the process more than the art. Many great ideas are destroyed by focusing on the process as opposed to the art itself. Devotion in practice yields rock. Side note. This does all look very confusing and convoluted, and making massive projects and process around something beautiful and inspiring as writing a song, but the problem a lot of people have is that there is no process. The thing you need to remember is that a song is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. This is all about keeping a track of that inspiration and letting it grow. Sometimes an artist does need a structure in which they can build up their art in. It does help. I really hope this yields awesomeness for you. Rock.